Welcome to WestfordCAT's weekly news show. I'm Alex Svensson. November is underway and we got some big stories for you. Let's jump right into this week's top stories. Grove Street in Westford was closed off last week after a water main break on Monday morning triggered a flood, which caused the road to buckle and collapse. I spoke with cleanup crews and residents at the scene to learn more.
A water main break on Grove Street in Westford triggered a flood and caused the roadway to buckle and collapse Monday morning. The Westford Police Department blocked off both Grove Street between Knoll Road and Oak Hill Road, and Oak Hill Road between Nabnasset Street and Plain Road following the rupture and flood, as both streets were impassable. According to Westford Public Works Director Kyle Fox, the water main broke around 6:30 a.m. Monday, heavily damaging the road.
We'll work to get the water line back up and running and the gas line up and running. National Grid crews are here this morning to assess both the gas and the electrical service. They're holding a pole right now to keep it safe for residents and allowing electricity to get back to the houses.
Grove Street resident Steve Jacques told WestfordCAT he woke up around 6:30 a.m. and was unable to use the water in his bathroom. He said he then looked outside and saw what he described as a geyser coming out of the broken roadway. He said he also lost power for at least a couple hours. WestfordCAT was at the scene of the water main break and saw that a large section of Grove Street had buckled and collapsed, leaving large holes filled with muddy floodwater. Floodwater and mud had also spilled down onto Oak Hill Road and covered the roadway. Fox said the water main running beneath Grove Street was not replaced as part of the Oak Hill, Plain Road, and Moore Road Water, Stormwater, and Transportation Infrastructure Improvement Project, and that the pipe's old age and the changing temperatures this time of year were likely contributing factors to the water main break. Police said crews from Public Works and the town's water department, as well as National Grid gas and electric crews, were at the scene to assess the damage and begin cleanup work. WestfordCAT saw workers at the scene using front loaders to dig up debris and move it out of the way and into dump trucks, while other workers were using shovels to clear the remaining debris off the roadway. One resident living near the corner of Grove Street and Oak Hill Road, and who wished to remain anonymous, said his basement and garage were flooded with muddy water, damaging much of his personal belongings. Other residents, such as Arnie Price and Linda Edelblut, said they lived nearby but were not affected by the water and power outage and came over to see what was going on after seeing the large police presence in the area.
I got a text and then I heard all the noise in my house. I was wondering what was going on.
Sure. We saw a lot of police cars coming in early this morning. My husband was on Facebook and saw the Westford News that there had been a water main break. The road was closed. We saw a helicopter, and then my son wanted to come see the tracks.
Residents told me that as a result of the broken water main, they lost water and power for several hours. It's not yet clear when the roadway will be fully repaired. Speaking of electricity, new power options program rates will take effect in Westford beginning this month and will remain fixed through November 2028. Town officials say the renewal helps protect residents from fluctuating energy prices while supporting clean energy goals. Since launching in 2016, the program has saved residents a total of $14 million, or about $1,800 per household, and prevents more than 4 million pounds of carbon pollution each year. Under the new plan, Westford Pop will continue offering 3 options: Basic, Standard, and Gold. All rates are expected to be lower than National Grid's basic service when the new contract begins. Current participants will automatically receive new pricing for their existing POP product beginning with their November 2025 meter read, but residents with a supplier block on their National Grid account must remove it before renewal. Most residents will see the new rate reflected in their December bill. Westford State Senator John Cronin joined the Massachusetts Senate in calling on President Donald Trump to use his authority to keep federal funds flowing to the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, also known as SNAP, before people in need begin losing access to food aid this month. The resolutions, known as Senate Bill 2688, was approved with bipartisan support on Thursday, October 30th. The Senate said the approval vote took place the same day the Commonwealth of Massachusetts approved $4 million towards local food banks, doubling their allotment and helping to address the impending crisis. These Senate resolutions call on President Trump to, quote, use all existing authority to supplement and transfer available funds to sustain SNAP benefits throughout the duration of the ongoing federal government shutdown. Many SNAP recipients have been at risk of losing their benefits since the beginning of the month, following the federal government shutdown in Washington, D.C. The Senate said this federal shutdown differs from other government shutdowns when SNAP recipients were not impacted. As a result, the Senate said around 1 million SNAP recipients in Massachusetts could face difficulty affording basic nutrition, with seniors, children, and people with disabilities expected to be disproportionately impacted. Emergency food providers across the Commonwealth have already reported sharp increases in demand, and while the legislature and administration have expanded investments in state-based anti-hunger initiatives, including the Massachusetts Emergency Food Assistance Program and Universal School Meals and the Healthy Incentives Program, the Commonwealth cannot absorb the $210 million per month in federal SNAP payments that would be lost if not funded during the ongoing federal government shutdown, the Senate said in its resolutions. The Senate said a SNAP shutdown could also impact the Massachusetts economy, as SNAP purchases make up a significant slice of grocery sales at farmers markets, neighborhood stores, and supermarkets around the state, with over 5,500 Massachusetts retailers participating in SNAP. The resolutions were adopted by the Senate and were sent by the Senate clerk to President Trump in Washington. That's it for this week's top stories. Now let's turn it over to our reporter, Emily Collins, who will talk about the town of Westford has responded to recent reduction in SNAP benefits.
Thank you, Alex. The town of Westford is coordinating a community-wide effort to support residents affected by reductions in Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP benefits. A town news release stated that departments across Westford are working with local organizations, schools, and businesses to provide food and financial assistance for families in need. The Westford Food Pantry remains a primary resource for residents. It's located at the Cameron Senior Center and is open on Wednesdays from 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. and Fridays from 8:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. The pantry accepts non-perishable food and monetary donations year-round. The nonprofit Westford Remembers is also collecting financial contributions to help cover food and essential needs. Food donation bins can be found throughout town at Town Hall, both Blanchard and Stony Brook Middle Schools, Westford Academy, and Aviva Trattoria. Community members looking for additional help can also contact the Westford Health and Human Services Department for more resources. Now back over to you, Alex.
Thank you, Emily, for that important coverage. In light of Veterans Day, the Westford Veterans Services Department has been helping out veterans receiving SNAP benefits by connecting them with local nonprofits such as Clear Path for Veterans in Devens and Methuen and Veterans Northeast in Haverhill. The Westford Police Department also hosted a food drive in support of the Westford Food Pantry at the Market Basket in Cornerstone Square in Westford last Saturday in order to provide food and other groceries to both veterans and other residents in need ahead of the holiday season. Additionally, the Massachusetts Senate Committee on Ways and Means, which Senator John Cronin is a part of, recently voted in favor of legislation to support the families of military service members based in Massachusetts in order to help drive federal investment in the local economy. This newly proposed legislation, which includes Senate Bill S-2676 and Senate Bill S-2675, will prioritize the education of children with a parent or guardian in the military and promote public safety around military installations, as well as make a technical clarification to the National Guard chain of command structure to bring Massachusetts statutes in line with language used by the majority of other states. The Committee on Ways and Means voted 16-0 to advance each bill. The Westford Museum and Historical Society held a presentation on Sunday remembering 250 years since the start of the American Revolution. The presentation featured Tom Tringale, a living history member who spent more than 30 years bringing America's past to life. The event highlighted Tringale's work with living history programs commemorating the 250th anniversary of the Revolution in 2025. Tringale shared stories and research from key Revolutionary War events, including the Battle of Lexington and Concord, the capture of Fort Ticonderoga, and the Battle of Bunker Hill. Tringale has helped plan numerous 1770s living history events across New England, including commemorations of the Boston Massacre and the battles of Lexington and Concord. He is also currently involved in planning a future 250th anniversary observances for the Battle of Saratoga, the Battle of Cherry Valley, and the raids on Bristol and Warren County, Rhode Island. The presentation also included a Q&A session where guests had the chance to explore the ins and outs of organizing a living history event. The town of Westford recently appointed Nathan Gilmet as the town's new technology director. Gilmet, who began his role on October 14th, comes to Westford with nearly a decade of experience in municipal information technology leadership, with a background in strategic planning, cybersecurity, and infrastructure modernization. Gilmet previously served as technology director for the town of Dracut, where he managed a $475,000 annual IT budget and provided technology leadership across municipal departments, including police, the fire department, public works, and the council on aging. In Dracut, Gilmet also led major cybersecurity initiatives, secured state and federal grant funding, and modernized core infrastructure, such as network switches, servers, and VoIP systems. Gilmet has also worked as IT manager at Custom Automated Prosthetics in Stoneham, where he led IT operations for more than 70 employees, managed system modernization and data projects. Nathan brings a wealth of experience in both technical leadership and municipal IT operations, town manager Kristen Last said. His expertise in cybersecurity, infrastructure modernization, and interdepartmental collaboration will be instrumental in advancing the town's technology initiatives and ensuring reliable, secure services for residents. In his new role, Gilmet will oversee the town of Westford and Westford Public Schools technology operations, cybersecurity, and network infrastructure, working with all departments to enhance digital accessibility and improve service delivery. Speaking of what's new in Westford, let's turn it over to our reporter Jenni Bahanek, who recently visited a new game store in town.
Thank you, Alex. War of epic proportions is played out on Thursday nights when Space Marines, orcs, fantastical birds, and steampunk-like robots do battle for the fate of the universe at several different tabletops. Local players of the game Warhammer 40K arrive early to set up at Three Trolls Games in Westford on an evening in October. They march in with hand-painted, futuristic miniature armies and carrying cases, retractable measuring tapes, and rulebook apps to ready themselves for war in the 41st millennium. The shop, Three Trolls Games, recently moved from Chelmsford to Westford. Three Trolls Games sells non-electronic, low-tech games and also hosts in-person nights for people to gather to play Warhammer, Dungeons & Dragons, and Magic: The Gathering. Owner, Andy Kirschbaum, recently celebrated the 30th anniversary of his store this summer when he moved to Westford. Kirschbaum told me he enjoys all types of games and the gaming community. I visited Three Trolls in October for a Warhammer 40K night, and players shared their enthusiasm for the game. One player described Warhammer 40K as fantasy pretending to be sci-fi combined with arms warfare. I spoke to Charlie Ross of Dracut, who plays Warhammer 40K competitively. He talked about why the game is important to him.
I've gone to tabletop games, a couple YouTube videos, and I started finding about the hobby and especially the competitive side, competitive events going on, especially in our local area. I feel it was a good goal of learning how to play, building some models, finding a new hobby, but also coming from a sports background, looking for a competitive outlet since I can't do competitive sports anymore. Just like any other sport or anything in life, you always start off bad because you have no frame of reference, and then you get a little bit better each time until all of a sudden you do very well and other people are asking you for advice. So that's one thing that's huge that has been a great thing that's kept me in the hobby and just doing more and more in the hobby.
To learn more about Three Trolls, visit WestfordCAT.org and read my story.
Thank you for that cool story, Jenni. Now let's have a look at this week's weather forecast. Following a cool and windy week with a brief warm-up last weekend, this week is expected to be even colder, with highs only in the 40s for most of this week. Sunday is expected to be the rainiest day, while there will also be a chance of rain on Monday. The rest of the week should be partly cloudy, with the sunniest days expected for Thursday and Friday. With the decrease in temperature, fall foliage around Westford is now past its peak, and leaves will continue to fall off the trees as the days go on. That's it for this week's weather forecast. Now let's have a look at sports for this week. The Westford Academy Ghosts boys varsity soccer team ended their season with a 1-0 loss at home against Lincoln Sudbury on Tuesday, October 28th. The boys varsity soccer team have struggled with an underwhelming season, finishing at the bottom of the league with 2 wins, 9 losses, and 6 tie games. On the other hand, the Westford Academy Ghosts girls varsity soccer team has done much better this season, despite also losing to Lincoln Sudbury during an away game also on Tuesday, October 28th. The girls varsity soccer team finished their regular season in 4th place in the league with 10 wins, 5 losses, and 3 tie games. Westford Academy winter sports registration is also now open. The registration is open until the beginning of the winter sports season on December 1st. Meanwhile, the New England Patriots, who are at the top of the AFC East, will take on their AFC rivals, the New York Jets, for this Thursday night game at Gillette. The Patriots are hoping that the Jets, who are currently standing at the bottom of the AFC East, will be an easy home win. Kickoff is at 8:15 on Thursday. Meanwhile, the Celtics, who have had a sluggish start to their season and currently sit at 12th place in the Eastern Conference of the NBA, took on the Orlando Magic at the Kia Center for the group stage of the NBA Cup last Friday. The Bruins, on the other hand, have had a much better start to their season, winning their first 3 games. The Bruins currently sit at 3rd place in the Atlantic Division of the NHL Eastern Conference. That's all for this week's edition of WestfordCAT News. We'll return on Sunday, November 16th with more stories. I'm Alex Svensson, and thank you for watching WestfordCAT News.